treasure trove.
It's now 6:30. I'd like to call this City Council meeting of December the 14th to order. I'd like to also point out that there was an executive session held here at City Hall on December the 12th to discuss personnel matters. Please call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas. Councilman Nestor.
Present.
Councilman Gregor.
Present.
Mayor Mosher.
Present.
Mayor, we note one absent member, Councilperson Thomas, and with four quorum.
Okay. I'm going to take the role of the prayer of the night since she's absent. Dear Heavenly Father, bless this city, keep an eye on it, give us the wisdom, the knowledge to make it work right for everybody. That's all these things I ask, to keep people's minds open. In the name of the one who made us, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to council to review the meeting minutes from the previous sessions of November the 9th, November the 20th, and the special meeting we held on the 29th. Those are all provided in advance. With anybody's comfortable, please make a motion to accept them.
How many pages?
Yeah, you'll have that down.
All right. Honorable Mayor, motion to approve minutes for previous sessions of November 9th, 2023, November 20th, 2023, and a special meeting for the Council of the City of Monessen held on November 29th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion items? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor.
Aye.
Councilman Nestor.
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment on agenda items only.
Okay, we got about, this is Ernie Telegraphist, 29 Rex. We got about, what, 10 boards that we're looking for people, but you're not putting down, like, how many of each of the boards are you looking for? Like 1 member, 2 members, 3 members? How many members are there?
It varies depending on the board.
Yeah, but,
Does that change who's going to respond?
yeah,
Why?
why?
If you're interested in the board, please respond.
Then you said you're gonna advertise, so you're gonna advertise 10 times? Or you're gonna put it all together in one big display ad?
There'll
One
be
big display.
one big,
And how much is this display ad?
I can get you the cost of it tomorrow. when we
Yeah,
come
what
in.
ballpark figure, what do you think? You put ads in before,
$380.
$380.
I'll get you the exact figure tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, and all of these board members that you're gonna fill, when is the deadline? Like, they start January, or they start February, March?
we're hoping that we'll get all the people who apply in by the end of the year.
This
We
year?
hope- The end of this year.
How's that?
No, wait, let me finish. Council will then interview the people, discuss with them, and it'll be the meeting in January, the first regularly scheduled meeting in January, not the reorg meeting, but the first regularly scheduled meeting in January, before we'll make any motions to put anybody on the boards.
Okay, and I can put my name on 2 of these?
Absolutely.
So you submit
Okay,
anyone.
so what date is this board meeting? for this meeting that you're gonna have? The first meeting in January, when is it?
Second Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday? Okay. That's all for now.
Come to the podium, please.
I got a call right before I was leaving. They were doing a survey about the cemetery.
Where is the minutes?
Your name and address first.
It wasn't.
I live in Monessen, 15062.
And your name?
I pay my taxes here in this
And your
city.
name?
My name is Pino,
Cemeteries are overcrowded.
okay? And I'd like to ask you,
This
General,
gets transcribed, so we really need to get this document.
okay, what is the minimum, what is the minutes of our meetings now? I don't see them here.
What they're trying to,
I haven't seen them the last 3 months. Is there a
They're-
reason for it?
They're published online.
Yeah,
Me-
we're publishing it online.
Oh, you don't pass them out?
We were asked,
There-
because of costs, to try to utilize the electronic means to do that for folks, but if someone would request a copy, I can get you a copy.
I like to have the copies
Okay.
of the one that you done put.
Okay.
And I have
For
second
tonight's
question.
3,
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I have a second question. How much does it cost for you to advertise for those jobs? And I noted on the budget, there's a $10,000 as of right now, budget to expense on doing whatever method you use to advertise. And I would say probably that newspaper, because they're on the budget, there's a $10,000 line item, correct? On this past budget right now.
Right.
Yeah,
But
okay.
what's the question? I don't
There's
understand.
a $10,000 money that could be spent,
All year long, yes.
yes,
Right.
and that's the question that he asked.
And we replied to about 380
But I'll
bucks for
get you
this
that
ad.
figure tomorrow
Pardon?
For the exact figure for this filing, for these 8 to 10 boards.
Tomorrow's good.
Because that's
So-
when it's gonna go in tomorrow.
Okay, because
I'll
there is
get
a
this-
$10,000 allowance.
Peanut.
And why do you always have
Peanut.
is somebody talking to you on your like computer that you always got it open? Why don't you close it and just be able to talk to us?
Because that's
No.
what's pushing to Facebook Live.
Peanut.
Oh,
Peanut.
live.
Live.
How do you spell
Peanut. Peanut.
Pino.
that?
That's what you were asking for. You just had him printing something else, you can have mine.
Is that your minute?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. What you said?
Anybody else on agenda items only?
That's all it takes.
Correspondence, we did receive a few applicants for the garbage, the refuge authority and the sewage authority. We're still receiving those in as we speak. At this time, I'd like to ask the solicitor for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. The contractor for Phase 3C that was awarded last month submitted all their contract documents, insurance, and bonds. Everything was in order. The USDA approved everything, and notice to proceed was issued today. Working with WEC engineers for Phase 3D that's in the works. It's regarding the railroad crossings where the sewage lines run underneath. None right now exist with the city. We're working to correct that. Charleroi Bank formally approved the proposal for the 2024 TAN note. That's for $500,000 at a 6.5% fixed interest rate. It's payable beginning in May, and how it will be paid is 30% of the city's taxes per month will be remitted to the bank for repayment. On the 28th meeting, there will be a resolution for council to vote on, along with the note for the TAN note itself. A couple months ago, I was talking about looking at the city street opening ordinance. There is a House bill that's in committee right now. It's a big push from the utility companies to have a uniform street restoration across the state. They want the state to push the PennDOT standards to the municipalities. That means it's typically restoration of the lane where they were excavating unless there's any cross trenches per so many feet. Like I said, it's still in committee. The city may want to reach out to their local state elected officials to voice their opposition to it. And the demo hearings that were held on November 9th, no appeals were made, so the city can sign off on the land bank documentation to process those. I just want to make a note on tonight's agenda. The ordinances for the budget and tax levy are on here, but they have to wait till the 28th because the legal ad specified the city would act on December 28th. That's all I have.
Thank you. Do you have anything from the city treasurer office?
Yes, I do, Mayor.
Okay,
Mayor, council, and citizens of Monessen, this is my report for the month of November 2023. Garbage fees and real estate taxes collected for the month. Garbage fees current collected, November, $10,275. Year-to-date, $356,534. Budget amount, $325,587. Delinquent, November, $4,860. Year-to-date, $59,769.68. Budget amount, $80,780. Amount collected by Portnoy, which was in the above amounts that I read, for November is $3,145. And year-to-date, $21,874.09. Penalties and interest collected from Portnoy, November, $47.18. Year-to-date, $3,026.31. Budget amount, $2,145. Garbage fees collected for 2024, November, $97,265. Year-to-date, $98,870. Budget amount, $1,385. Total, November, $112,400. Year-to-date total, $402,773.68. Budget amount, $409,897. Real estate taxes revenue collected for November. Current, $6,617.63. Year-to-date, $1,994,974.15. Budget amount, $2,013,724. City taxes prior years collected by the city, nothing this November. Year-to-date, $8,673.30. Budget amount, $5,503. Subtotal for real estate taxes with $2,003,647.45. Delinquent city taxes collected by Westmoreland County. November, we received $85,540.37. Year-to-date, $251,987.81. Budget amount, $167,423. Total year-to-date taxes, $2,255,635.26. Distribution as of October 31st, 2023. Year-to-date, general fund received $1,393,937.55. Budget amount, $1,400,947.79. Debt service received year-to-date, $378,288.68. Budget amount, $380,191.09. Library received year-to-date, $41,125.02. Budget amount, $40,677.22. Parks received $190,296.20. Budget amount, $191,907.90. Total budget was $2,013,724. Miscellaneous collections. Real estate transfer tax. November, we received $58,993.55. There was a Illumisource transfer tax of sale of Illumisource went through, and we received from the transfer tax $50,000 for November. Year-to-date taxes. Transfer tax, $116,000. $356.44. Budget amount, $89,333. Earned income tax, November, $67,402.90. Year-to-date, $640,238.30. Budget amount, $513,898. Mercantile tax, November, $2,092.54. Year-to-date, $20,862.41. Budget amount, $22,597, or $579. Local service tax, November, $14,442.40. Year-to-date, $75,512.04. Budget amounts, $53,357. Tax certifications, November, $1,790. Year-to-date, $22,890. Budget amount, $21,940. Municipal lien letters, November, $1,275. Year-to-date, $16,350. Budget amount, $14,775. Line usage account, unsecured payments, November, $349. Year-to-date, $11,341. Line usage fee, November, $65,763.38. Year-to-date, $831,370.80. Total for line usage account for year-to-date was $842,711.80. Mayor, that concludes my report for the month.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to accept the city treasurer's report?
Mayor, motion to accept the garbage fees and city real estate tax collected for the month of November 2023, read by the city treasurer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Didn't you read that?
Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to ask our city controller if she has a report she'd like to give us.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. The general fund Charleroi Federal Savings Bank checking account. The reconciliation as of November 30th, 2023. The beginning bank balance as of October 31st, 2023 was $474,147.16. Deposits made $364,343.12. Expenses $305,321.52. The ending balance as of November 30th, 2023 was $533,168.76. We had outstanding checks, $2,212.77. No outstanding deposits. The reconciled balance to the bank statement was $530,955.99. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I would like our Anthony Vitale, President of WEC Consulting Engineers, to discuss the status and development of all phases of the sewer and water project in the city of Monessen and the recent invoice submitted to the meeting for this payment for requisition 13 and the project phase 3 work completed on the project in and around November 2023.
What
That's a
specific-
mouthful.
Yeah, what specifically with the invoice? I don't have that information with me. The $52 for mileage that Ned charged, is that what the problem still is?
No, but it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you total it, it totals all up at the bottom.
Yeah,
I think it might be more appropriate just to give
Yeah.
us a synopsis of
I can
where we're
talk
at
to you
with
about
all
that
the,
later.
the different sewer projects.
Yeah, here's the charge right here.
Yeah. I'll talk to you about it.
All right, Tony called me, so I guess everyone wants to talk about the manhole in Schoonamaker.
Well, let's start with the phase 3. Where are
Okay.
we with 3A, 3B, 3C?
3A, we're waiting for specifics for the change orders that they presented. They have to go out and do some things, various things. exposed manholes, plant manholes. The general rule of thumb is for CIPP lining is that they go from manhole to manhole, and they insert the neoprene liner. So they can't run very far, especially the bigger the pipe. If it's 8 inches, they can go a little further. But they have to install some manholes, they have to expose some manholes, they have to break some inverts, things like that.
So as I
Additionally-
understand it, several of the manholes were actually paved over and were,
Yeah, I mean, they're in alleys and stuff, so it's Miller Street's got a couple. They'll be here tomorrow, Jeremiah. So the next question on that's gonna be the 24-inch pipe that was exposed in the MCSP project that would convert to a CIPP lining. We're waiting on pricing for that. And then once all these little changes are done, they're gonna come in and they're gonna line everything and the project will be complete. MCSP, I was asked to meet with them tomorrow on 3rd Street Extension and 3rd because there's like a 1,400-foot long, 48-inch pipe where the contractor that already bid this is asking for us to show him where the pipe goes. So there's a manhole at 3rd Street and there's a manhole at Copco. So I found a gentleman that's gonna walk this thing with that Mon Valley's locator. He's gonna walk through the pipe with the locator and we're gonna paint a line. We're gonna go to Copco's and we're gonna come back. My plan is, once he plants those 2 manholes, we'll do the same thing again. There's no reason in the world for him to walk 1,400 feet when I can't keep pace with him. It's a waste of time and it's dangerous. So once we get 300 feet down, we'll do it again and give him 2 more manholes.
okay. So between 3A and 3B, how do we stand as far as economically? Are they on project, on cue?
Overall,
Overall,
and you want that number.
or at least to give us a good feeling for
It's
what.
Christmas. $4.2 million under budget, folks.
Under.
Under.
You meant Cleveland Cliffs, right?
Copco's.
Copco,
Okay.
3rd Street Extension.
3rd and Leeds. 3rd Street Extension in Leeds.
You come up there- oh, that
Davy
way.
Bergsted's park.
Oh, okay.
So, once that information was provided or developed, I spent the last few days making a list of the ways you guys can spend your money.
Thank you, sir.
Oops, that's the wrong one, Johnny. What did I do?
Just have one of them?
I got caught.
So just to clarify this, the,
We can pass it around.
I have 10 of them somewhere in there. They're probably sitting under my car.
That's all right.
No worries.
well,
no worries.
we can look at
I
it.
see.
Let's just to kind of summarize what we've got going on here. But first off, the project came in under the estimated value that we thought, for one. For two, they're actually able to save us some money along the way. The change orders have not blown these projects out of the realm, is what I'm saying.
There's contingency in there.
And there's contingency built into these projects. So with that said, there's a good chance that we're going to complete what we've defined as phase 3 with some money left over. Is that a fair statement?
Sure looks that way. A lot of money.
And as such, basically, we ask you to here.
Yeah, I'll read my prepared statement. Any questions you guys may have afterward, I'll be happy to answer. We're currently projecting to be roughly $4.2 million under USDA funding available for sewer projects. The grant portion of the package is $4.684 million, and it does not activate until the 2 loans amounting to $15.19 million at an interest rate of 1.125% with a 40-year term are closed. The grant needs to be used for sewer rehabilitation. I've developed a Phase 3E project that currently addresses 35 sewer runs. I referenced a Mr. Rehab report conducted in 2007 to address the worst-case areas then. Additional factors include the desire to postpone areas that will require additional manholes and easement acquisitions, which take time and create change orders. The plan addresses roughly 35,579 linear feet at 6.74 miles of sewer pipe ranging from 8 inches to 24 inches, plus about 1,000 feet 30-inch pipe on leads. The Gannett Fleming mapping identifies 283 manholes in the project. Manhole rehabilitation nor replacement will be addressed in this effort. However, the manhole invert data and condition need to be ascertained to allow us to create plans for bidding. I applied the pricing recently obtained from Insight Pipe and tentatively have a construction cost estimate of $4,046,257. Ross Traver from Marion to Colombo, including Montraver, will require numerous easements and a pipe relocation at a cost in excess of $1 million, including engineering, legal, right-of-way acquisition, and excavation. These issues create a time concern, and it is likely that we could address most of Montraver and postpone the interceptor portion in this phase. Reducing the construction cost estimate by almost $1 million leaves us with a $3 million package, which allows for unknowns in the current construction project, including easement fees on Phase 3D and soft costs. It may be possible to sewer Surrey without a pump station or the need for an easement. I need council to authorize WEC to investigate this possibility and do the field work to see what truly exists for the rest of the 3E estimate. This will require manhole-to-manhole investigation for each of the 283 manholes. If we exclude Montraver, Ross Traver, it's 244 manholes that we assume are in the field. We also need XYZ data. We need to move quickly. It will take weeks to gather the preliminary information and several months to create the plans needed for bidding and months to get through the USDA bidding process. Questions?
Let me try to clarify or at least put this together that it's something I can understand. The project is going to come out under budget as defined through 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D. And as such, if we go back, there is far more sewer lines in this city that need repair than what Project 3 was really done. So you identified these things that were part of the environmental study, the things that were done with previous video and so forth, and said, now's an opportunity we can do this. Now, as I understand it, USDA is very willing to work with us on this. I'm also concerned that, do we have to go out and do complete specifications on these new lines that you're talking about here?
They're gonna make us bid it regardless. And
So that
to
means new
create the bid-
specifications.
Yeah, you need the plan. You need the plans. You gotta show them the elevation.
Are we gonna have the same problem with getting them to approve these specifications in a timely fashion so that we can get this done?
I hope not. I mean, it takes time. What I could do is piecemeal $1 million jobs, do 4 of them to keep them moving, if that would make it faster. It's all CIPP lining.
Mm-hmm.
So, believe it or not, there are, let's say, up to 10 people that would be interested in doing this work. So I would expect competitive bids, but it's usually an economy of scale. The bigger the project, the better the price. So we could have this discussion with.
And we have a pretty good working relationship with USDA, so
Yeah.
we can talk to them about this and make sure that they're on board with this. What it really tells me, though, is what we've committed to with USDA, the $15 million loan, the 2 $7.5 million loans we have with them, we're gonna get more work done than we originally anticipated.
Right.
And that's a very positive thing for the city.
And the other thing is, once those loans close, you're no longer dealing with UPM or with PNC, you're now dealing with the USDA at the 1.18. One and an eighth, yeah. Yeah.
Just over
So,
1%
but-
interest, yes.
But you have to, it's use it or lose it with this grant. It's not, we're done here, take it back. You could do that, I guess.
Yeah, we just don't have to pay it back, but it's not the goal of the city to do that. The goal of the city is to fix as much
Yeah.
pipe as we can with the resources that we have. And I think this is fantastic news, and to your testament, that we're able to have this opportunity to expand the system to include additional pipe that we weren't originally intended to do.
7 miles.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. Okay. Tony, if anyone noticed, there's a manhole that collapsed on Schoonamaker.
Yeah.
Did you notice this? So I was able to get 3 quotes. We're prepared to, got an HOP permit application here. Everything will fall in line. I had 3 bids and they blew my mind, but I won't name the bidder, but $42,000. 42, no, I'll be exact. 42,661, 43,408, and 28,905. So, and I was told by one guy, he was too, one contractor told me he's too old for this, and the other one told me good luck with my work. So.
He said what?
Good luck with your work.
This is right below where Rostraver would come down the road where the steps are. The steps come down from Rostraver. As those steps come down, right there on Schoonmaker, in the middle of Schoonmaker, in the left lane, well, pretty much the middle of the road, is a manhole. When he opened up this manhole in order to do some additional investigation about what goes under the river and so forth, what goes under the railroad tracks and so forth, he found that this thing had collapsed. All the brick had
It's powder.
the bottom line is, we were lucky that he opened this line, because even in the day that he opened it, the very next day he went back and looked, and just the traffic riding over that one day had caused additional.
Yeah, Rodney actually found it, I think. I don't, he called me down that day.
The bottom line is that this was declared an emergency. I don't want a school bus or any other vehicle falling into a hole like what happened in Pittsburgh. And that's really what we're talking about here. This is a vault that has failed over the course of 100 years that it was been there. We've got to get this fixed. It is an emergency requirement that we fix this vault.
You gonna go with the 28,000?
That's my recommendation. I gave him a recommendation last
Now-
day. But it's Christmas, there's a whole bunch of little things that have to happen before he can go stick a shovel in the ground. First of all, he needs an HOP. We need to do the one call. You guys need to authorize him. He needs to look into the availability of the manhole with that particular configuration, because when they brought the pipe down the hill, I never seen anything like this. Heppel was with me. They took segments of 24-inch pipe with bell and made a radius out of it. There's about 15 pipes, bells stacked. They made a radius. And that's from what's exposed. Now, I don't know what they did to get in. I mean, it might be a whole snake thing. And now we gotta deal with concrete pipe, which is 24 on the inside, 28 on the outside. So now he's gotta order a hole in that manhole, probably in excess of 36 to hit the angle, which is gonna put him into the sidewalk, which is gonna create an extra charge, because he's gonna have to tear the side, at least one sidewalk up, and do continuous excavation, because now I don't foresee a problem with the pipe traveling down Schoonmaker. That should be okay. But the one going up Rostraver is gonna be an animal. It's a beast. And this little thing's only 5 feet deep. I mean, typically, pre-COVID, pre-inflation, this was a $7,500 fix if it was out anywhere else in an SR. And this is 30 grand.
Who was the contractor?
So I'm gonna ask the
Low
solicitor
contractor
this.
is
This is not on our agenda to approve moving forward. Is this something that we need to, can we amend the agenda? Can we call a special meeting?
You're gonna have to call a
address-
special meeting.
That's right.
Okay.
Should I just proceed as though he's authorized? I mean, he might want a letter, I don't know.
This is an emergency. Give us your estimation of how we should proceed.
You're gonna have to have a special meeting to at least ratify this. I mean, the road can collapse. It's in jeopardy of collapsing.
To my knowledge, it's pylon, but I haven't been back since Lindy paved over it last week, so I don't know what it's doing right now.
Okay.
So the earliest we'd be able to have a special meeting would be Monday at this
Mhm.
point,
If you get the ad in the paper.
if we can get ad in the paper.
You still have to go through the HOP permits and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of an after-the-fact thing, though. We can present it.
Okay.
We have all the information we need with a few exceptions, and I'd like to at least tell him to start looking for the manhole.
I
You
think
know,
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Under emergency,
have a special
Condition.
meeting Monday, make the formal decision, but
we need to
there's
proceed.
a dangerous thing.
Get it done.
We need to proceed.
Get it started.
He probably needs something from you, Mike, just telling him you're authorized to purchase, to procure the manhole. It's, and in this particular case, I'm not gonna be picky on the ins and outs sizes. Anything he can get that's in excess of 36 in. and it's more or less a 90 degree. So it should be something that's reasonably available, let's put it that way.
So let me ask you this question. Is there anything to be gained if you started tomorrow versus waited till Monday or Tuesday
No.
to start?
Just clearing public safety. I mean, I don't have, like,
Get with Mike and the mayor tomorrow.
I'll be here for at least the 3B meeting,
Okay.
and then I'm going up in the field with him. But I think the kid's probably gonna want something on letterhead authorizing him to go, so he'll
And we'll-
probably
we'll-
reach out to the meeting.
We'll work with a solicitor and we'll come up with a plan.
All right. All right, guys, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony, for stopping down.
You want me to stick around?
That's okay. Go ahead.
Your choice. Public
Any
meeting.
questions, anybody? You had something, you forgot.
When are these bonds gonna close? Did you say when the bonds close?
The loan,
Yeah.
when the invoice exceeds the, what did I say it was? 5.275 million.
Okay, well, when do you anticipate that?
I think you could close one,
When?
and you're probably getting close writing $600,000 checks every month. I'm not sure what's been spent. I know it's projected to be spent.
Is it 2024 or 2025?
There's $2.2 million left on phase 3B.
Is this Andrew?
Yes.
You're on the speaker, you're live on a city council meeting. Give us,
Okay, how you doing, Mayor?
good, just give us 1 second, we'll finish up with what we're doing, we'll ask you for your presentation. Is there-
Sounds good.
All right, is that it?
You coming back on the 28th?
28th, I'll be at the Peach Bowl with my daughter. Lucky me. Okay.
Be safe going out there.
We'll see
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Andrew Grease of A&J On-Lot Services. He's our SEO, which is Sewer Executive,
Sewer enforcement.
Sewer Enforcement Officer, to give us a presentation of what he found at 23 High Street and the intersection of High and Crescent. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor said my name is Andy Greaves. I'm a sewer enforcement officer representing A&J On-Lot Services. So the property in question here is at 23 High Street. Early November, it was brought to our attention about this issue. After some numerous site visits, some dye testing, we were able to confirm that the existing septic system on this property was malfunctioning. We were able to confirm dye going into the tank, and then from the tank, it just discharged directly over the hillside. So it was a pretty easy determination. We were able to locate a sewer on Crescent Drive, which is a Mason Street that intersects with High Street. If my memory serves me right, I believe that the sewer location is approximately 135 feet from the driveway on 23 High Street, which is on, the sewer is actually on Crescent Drive. So on November 17th, we made a recommendation to the city of Monessen on a series of steps to take them to get this property in the DEP regulations. Since then, after the report was issued on November 17th, we were made aware that I guess the closing date for this property, which was, if I'm not mistaken, either scheduled for tomorrow or possibly next week, was going to be a conflict because obviously the sewer main hasn't been extended at this point. So, we've determined, we presented a letter to the city a few days ago, granting a 6-month extension for the sewer to be extended up Crescent Avenue, the location deemed on the report, the recommendation on November 17th, which we submitted. The only stipulations to that would be that an escrow account would be set up with all necessary funds to cover the cost of the new grinder pump, abandonment of the existing septic system, including the new forced main discharge line from the sewage ejector and the connection to the sewer main. And I was told that this escrow account has already been set up. So we feel comfortable presenting to council a 6-month extension so we don't hold up this closing for the real estate transaction. And sewer main would need extended from its location, like I stated earlier, on Crescent Drive to the, location at 23 High Street, which is approximately 135 feet. And I spelled that out pretty clearly in detail on the recommendation. So that's our proposal. We are comfortable with the 6-month extension. This is standard practice. We've done this in cases in the past, and it does fall within DEP guidelines, as long as there's funds set up in an escrow account and those repairs are made. So that's pretty much the overall view of this property at 23 High Street. So I guess what we're asking, or I'm asking, is we're comfortable with a 6-month extension, as long as this escrow account is set up and these repairs will be made within this time frame. This is obviously an active health issue. There is sewage discharging over the hillside. And I believe our recommendation is the best solution to the problem at this property.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for him?
No, Mayor.
And like, how much is this gonna cost? He wants an escrow account. How much money does he want?
That's not-
Well, the
Separate
escrow and
things.
the repair are two different issues. The escrow is, that they're asking for is for the homeowner to provide a grinder pump, the seller to provide funds to get the grinder pump to a manhole that is yet to be there. What he's saying is it's the city's responsibility to provide sewage to that location, that manhole there.
And
That-
how much money is it?
That, we have an estimate from our city engineer of $91,000, and it's on the agenda today to be discussed.
One's down.
That 91,000 includes not only the pipeline, but curb-to-curb repaving of the road after they dig it up, so.
Well, we're not gonna end up in the black then.
Oh, this comes out of line usage, though. This does not come out of the general fund. This is line usage funds.
That's what it's there for, Arnie.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
Who pays the tap-in fee to that line?
They will pay the tap-in fee.
Is it the former owner or the?
That's part of the escrow, I do believe
They're
that they,
determining
Former
that.
owner has to?
I believe that that's what the agreement is, but that's contractual between the seller and the buyer, and I'm not part of
They
that.
have to pay a tap-in fee to get into the.
Yes.
Somebody's gotta pay it, yes.
Yep.
Well, what I'm saying is not on the city.
It's not on the
Not on the
city.
city, yeah.
Okay? Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Andrew, Andy?
No, what you're saying is accurate. That escrow account is for the private portion of that. That would be the owner's responsibility, not the city, as you stated.
Okay. Well, thank you very
One
much.
thing I would like to add is, you know, this location of this proposed store extension, any future real estate transactions on High Street above that, if there would ever be an issue in the future, it would be a convenient location. Also, if they would be forced to tie in at some point in the future, it would also be a convenient location for that as well.
There at all.
Very good. And I'll explain some more of that in my little summary.
Okay.
Thank you. With that, I think
All you
we'll,
got? No, nothing else? No questions?
Thank you so much, Andy.
Thanks,
You're
Andrew.
welcome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
thank you. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, keep it to the end.
So now it's about what we were just talking about.
Then you can bring it up at the end, because I will explain some more of this. So let me kind of summarize a couple of things here that what we've heard tonight. Today we heard the WEC, and he probably didn't really explain this as well as what I was hopeful for, but 3C, which is the current project that is being kicked off right now, the kickoff meeting will be tomorrow, is that correct?
I believe.
Yeah, 10 a.m. tomorrow. So what this is a project that will reline the pipe that runs from the area of Bart's on 3rd Street, on Grand, all the way down Parente to Schoonmaker. It's just over a mile, and it's a big pipe, but that's really what it boils down to, is it will reline all that. It's not complicated. Conceptually, it's a simple project. Physically, it's a major ordeal. It's a $3 million plus, I forget the exact number, but it's,
That job, there's the first 600
Yeah. So it is a project, but except for the stuff of it by Bart's and custom polishing, it really doesn't have any effect on traffic. Is that correct? It shouldn't have much effect. In other words, the line that runs down Parenti is on the side of Parenti. It's not down the center of Parenti, it's on the side of Parenti. It's a major line, but it shouldn't have a major effect. So this really brought us to a couple of things. 3D, which is yet to be really talked about much, as I understand it, will be to bring all these lines that we're getting to Schoonmaker through the gold line, across the tracks, across the mill, across private property, and to its final destination. Stormwater goes to the river, sewage goes to the sewage authority. All of that crosses the tracks in one form or another. Turns out there's 5 crossings there. Earlier this week, yeah, it was this week, I sent a letter to CSX requesting that they provide any information about any agreements that they have. Now bear in mind, we got 5 lines. We got line at 9th Street, 5th Street, 3rd Street, 2nd Street, and Parenti. There's 5 of them there. CNX responded very quickly. I was surprised. Within a few hours, I started getting back lots of data, lots of agreements. Unfortunately, none of the agreements were between the city and CNX, or CSX.
So we got no agreement with it?
We have no agreement with them.
That's probably because the lines crossing the railroad tracks existed before the railroad tracks.
Yeah, and think about that for just a second. There's 2 84-inch lines. These are lines I can stand up or hold my arms out and I couldn't touch these walls of this pipe. It's that big. It's just a huge pipe that run underneath the tracks. Do you think that the tracks were there first, or do you think that this hand-laid brick line was put there before the tracks were there? And it's really hard to imagine that we did this after the tracks were there and that they let us do it. That would have been just beyond my imagination. I've asked our future councilwoman, I've asked our historian to go through the library, through the Historical Society, and we'll look at the records that we have at the city garage for any books, pictures, notes, drawings, anything that shows the construction of the pipeline, the sewage line that was there, and when the railroad tracks were put there. This is all good stuff, but even if we prove that we were there first, it doesn't solve the problem. Railroads have protections that are beyond anything I can even understand. It developed over the last 100 years through agreements at the federal government level that they design protections that they have. It is highly likely that we will be forced to come up with a new agreement that allows us to line these lines underneath their tracks. Now bear in mind, we're not going to disrupt traffic, we're not going to be above ground, we're going to be underground, we're going to be doing this. But to line this pipe underneath their pipe requires that we meet their requirements for the type of lining we're doing, all kinds of things that our engineer will have to comply with. It also means that it's highly likely that we're going to have to pay a fee. We don't know if this is going to be a one-time fee or this is going to be an annual fee yet, but we are going to have to pay a fee to do this crossing of the tracks. And all these things are still up in the air. These are the things that are probably holding back 3D from being kicked off right now today. Without the right-of-way to do this, it's a very complicated thing. Now, bear in mind, some of this involves lines that go underneath Cleveland Cliffs operation over there. In fact, one of their small 32-inch, 36-inch lines goes right underneath their battery. This battery is a $750 million. That's $750 million, $750 million investment that they have to this. Now listen, let me finish. So we have this battery there that's part of their operation, and we've sat down with them. They understand the magnitude of the problem, that we've already had a sewer line fail over there a couple of years ago, and it was a major deal. Luckily, they weren't in production at the time. It was in between ownerships, and it didn't really affect anything that goes on. But if we were to disrupt their battery, it would be a major issue. So even at the fact that we're underneath 36 inches or maybe it's more than that. They put a concrete pad underneath their battery, and this is underneath the concrete pad. We're way down deep, and it's not likely that there's anything that could happen to this pipe. They're of concern, and I understand that concern. They tried to send a camera down this line, and they ran into debris. This debris, they couldn't get the camera around, they couldn't get it around corners. They eventually had to drag the camera back with a cable, and it busted the camera. So the only other option was to send a person down this. Now, a person that wants to climb down a 36-inch pipe, 900 feet, with nothing but a flashlight and some basic tools, my hat is off to them. I wouldn't do that for all the tea in China.
You probably want $1 million.
They don't. They don't. That's what blows my mind. There are people that do this for a living. They do it economically. I think they're only getting paid $20-something an hour. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for that. But they're doing that, and they're taking a GoPro camera as they do this to film this line. So we will have the data for Cliffs, Cleveland Cliffs, such that they can understand why it is that we want to do this line. Those are the kinds of extremes that we're forced to do with this sewer project. It's just phenomenal, the things that they're doing. So anyway, that said, the next thing we talked to our SEO about the problem at High Street and Crescent. To be real honest and open with everybody, this is an area of town for reasons I have no knowledge of or understanding of how this ever came to be, but there are several houses up there that were built off the sewer system. In other words, we did not put a sewer system in that neighborhood when they built the houses. I don't know why or what the thinking was, whether it's too expensive or just too, but it didn't happen. And they were forced to do septic systems up there. Now, we made a phone call to DEP, and this was very, very specific. If you do a dye test at a residence, and you do a proper dye test, you test it at the toilet, the sinks, and so forth and so on, you run a sufficient amount of water through it so that the dye actually would disperse. If you see nothing on the ground or in a public waterway, you can assume they have a septic system. And that's the assumption that we have. So problem is our code enforcement officer can walk up and ring the doorbell and say, we'd like to do a dye test, but he has no authority to force them to do that. They can say, I don't care. I don't want to be bothered with it. I got a system that works, don't talk to me. Our SEO, however, has different powers. He is authorized by the state to be able to do these dye tests at these houses. And that's what I've really asked him to do, is to do a dye test at all these houses that are up there and figure out the scope and the magnitude of the problem that we have. If it's a problem that's replicated, this work that we're doing on High Street will have lots of customers on it eventually. If it's not, then maybe we're off the hook for something. But anyway, that's one of the things that we're working on. To top it all off, I got back from Harrisburg about 2 hours ago now. I got the gracious invitation by our governor to go to his governor's residence to meet with him and so forth. And what he did is he invited lots of mayors from all over the state. Turns out that I went last night, so I'd have some time, and this morning, the first thing I did is I met with Senator Kim Ward. Went on the Senate floor and got some pictures, and it was very beautiful. I started off with a tour of the Capitol building. And I strongly urge anybody that wants to see something that will just absolutely blow your mind, the Capitol building is a thing to see. It is a magnificent, it is a beautiful building. President Roosevelt said it was the most beautiful building in the world as far as he was concerned. I think that was an understatement. It truly is. There's marble, there's walnut, it is phenomenal. Anybody that's ever worked there, I'm sure Ted could give you stories about it, but it is a phenomenally beautiful building. And I got to see all that. And I went to Senator Ward and DeVance's office. And in the process, I got to meet Governor Shapiro. He was walking down the hall, hello, how you doing? Good to meet you, blah, blah, blah. He was in a hurry, he had to get into a meeting, and it turns out that I didn't see him at his residence, but I got to meet him before he went to there at the Capitol building. He was in some talks. Now, he may have showed up at the residence after I left. I had to get back here, so I left before everybody else did. But that said, If you ever get a chance to go get a Capitol tour, call your congressman, your senator you happen to like. They will set it up a tour. It's worth doing. It is absolutely beautiful.
Okay, you're promoting Harrisburg. How about Monessen?
Well,
You promote Monessen?
I promote Monessen everywhere I
Okay, well,
go.
what did you get out of that? With that
Lots of,
Photoshop,
lots of contacts, and just hold your comments, because things, nobody's got a checkbook, right, they're gonna write you a check right then and there. But I did make lots of contacts. Last and not least, I had numerous calls with WC and USDA. We talked about the problem on Schoonmaker and Rostraver. We talked about the problem up at 3rd and High Street, or excuse me, Crescent and High Street. They indicated to me that they could finance those under the USDA project if we followed all their guidelines, the prevailing wages, the proper specifications, all those different things. So that is our intention. Now, it really doesn't matter in the end, because we pay for the USDA out of line usage. We could just pay for it out of the surplus funds we have in line usage that's set aside for maintenance as well. But that money that we have in the line usage fee is supposed to be for maintenance projects going forward, not projects as we're running into right now. So it's my suggestion that council continue to push the USDA to include those projects in that. With that said, I'd like to continue on. Does anybody want to read my things? You want me to just read them?
Let John read. They got a good voice.
All right. Honorable Mayor, here are the following motions. Motion to approve sewer rehabilitation project phase 3, payment requisition for MCSP and certification number 13, the amount of $622,109.40, and the work performed in the month of November 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to approve sewer rehabilitation project phase 3, payment requisition for WEC and certificate number 13 in the amount of $41,751.90 for the services provided in the month of November 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Motion to permit advertising for positions of the following board and commissions within the city of Monessen: the Light Property Review Board, Board of Appeals, Environmental Advisory Board, Human Relations Commission, Monessen Planning Commission, Monessen Public Library Board of Trustees, Monessen Recreation Board, Monessen Redevelopment Authority, Monessen Shade Tree Commission, Monessen Zoning and Hearing Board, Mon Valley Sewage Authority, Police Accountability, Internal Affairs Board, Youth and Young Citizens Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. Now, before you read the next one, I think we're going
To
to
table.
that motion because of an advertising issue. Make a motion to table motion E
And F.
and F
Until December 28th.
until December 28th.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. Also, on the next one, I'd like to table this one. This is motion G, motion to hire the professional services of Rosewood Tower Consulting to identify and procure grants and funding opportunities. Let me explain what my thinking is and why I think this is important we proceed with this. Well, first off, let's go through with the tabling. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? No? Okay, why is because, first off, we need to discuss this before we put it on the agenda. That's the first thing. And this motion to hire these people was not necessarily discussed beforehand. The reason why I think it's important that we do these things is there are lots of grants. I subscribe to PA grants, there's USDA, US DOT grants. I got probably well over 100 grants right here that could be done. I don't believe that there's any one person that can do all these grants. I think we need a whole bunch of people doing grants. We need to solicit for grant writers to put together a rostrum of grant writers. A grant writer that understands roads and the needs for roads in Monessen might be perfectly suited to write grants for US DOT for money for roads. He may not be the proper person to write grants for some other thing that we have doing, for water as an example, or sewage. The point being is, we need to have different people doing different grants, and the more we have on board, the better off we are. This was one that I would like to start with, but there's many others that I think that we ought to be bringing on. And just as council, I think council needs to be aware of all these as we bring them on, and feel free to interview them, to talk to them, to understand what their expertise is and all those different things. So with that, call a roll and we'll get it tabled.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to commission WEC to obtain bids to install vault and manhole on the corner of High and Crescent Streets connected to existing lines on Crescent. Project is not to extend $91,000, including curb-to-curb paving and engineering and project management fees, not to exceed 18% of actual contracted price.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? It's not your time to ask questions. You can talk at the end. It's council time.
You
gotta
look at Surrey with that. I'm just asking.
Well, we'll get that.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Councilman Orzechowski and our Director of Council Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Make a motion to pay the following invoices from the general account in the amount of $252,734.84. All invoices are attached as attachment A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Parks Fund account in the amount of $1,734.46. All invoices are attached to as attachment B.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Recreational Fund account in the amount of $617.37. All invoices are attached to the agenda as attachment C.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Liquid Fuels account in the amount of $6,830.43. All invoices are attached as attachment D.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from line usage account in the amount of $3,181.10. All invoices are attached as attachment F.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Refuge Authority in the amount of $48,517.24. All invoices are attached to this agenda as attachment G.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to transfer $65,589.20 to the payroll account from the general account for the payroll of the city of Monessen for November 11th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Moser.
Yes.
Motion to transfer $69,217.06 to the payroll account from the general account for payroll of the city of Monessen, December 7th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchowski?
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to transfer $2,200 to the healthcare fund, replenish the healthcare for future invoices.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchowski?
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to transfer $100,000 from liquid fuels account to the general account. The transfer is the reimbursement to the general fund for expenditures and other costs paid by the general fund when funds were unable to be utilized and paid for out of the liquid fuels account at the time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchowski?
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
And the totals. ARP fund has $238,493.68. Debt service has $786,513.86. Fire escrow has $21,154.71. Grant fund has $90,593.08. Payroll has $6,748.58. Healthcare has $3,101.61. Line usage has $767,802.86. Liquid fuels has $21,881.41. Parks has $45,989.07. Recreation has $4,598.61. Refuge account has $155,044.16. And the general fund has, after this transfer, $320,926.12. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you. Councilperson Lois Thomas is not here this evening, so we'll get her report at the next meeting on the 28th. This time, I'd like to ask Councilman John Nestor for his report on public safety.
Thank you, Mayor. Honorable Mayor, members of council, royal office, citizens of Monessen, I will abstain from our report until the next meeting. Happy holidays to everyone, and happy blessed Hanukkah to those who are celebrating it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Gregor, would you like to give us your report?
I'll defer to December 28th meeting. I do have something to bring up as far as the paving of Evergreen. I was sitting with the mayor in his office the other day, and we were having a conversation about whether we could use CDBG money for that particular project. And neither one of us could recall what Walt Haglund had told us. So the mayor called him. You cannot use CDBG money to pave that street because there are no residents on it. However, Mr. Haglund said that you can use ARP money for that. So at the December 28th meeting, I'll be making a motion to do that. Now, it was discussed earlier about special projects, and that would be an excellent use of that money because of the traffic in between the cemeteries from the Park Plan section to the Orchard Avenue section of the city. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the floor for public comment on items of relevance to the city, things that we can act upon.
Mayor, may I ask, where are the attachments A, B, C, D, E, F, G? They're not up there.
They're not. We have them. If you would like a copy, I can get you those.
Shouldn't they be there, though? So, I mean, you say attachment F and all the invoices, and we don't have anything
Well,
to go
they
by.
never have been in the past,
We're
but
trying to
we,
do, Ted, a little bit of cost savings on it, and we'll get them to the folks
It
that
can't,
want them.
Mike, it can't cost that much, come on.
Well, we're watching every penny, Ted. But I can get that to you.
I hear you, but anyway, Ted Har, Helen, Mr. Gregor, I think LSA money could be used for that too, the stuff that they did not apply for. So I would check into that possibly.
I won't be here.
Well, maybe they will this time. What is the current value of a mill in the city of
It
Monessen?
depends on who you want to ask. If you ask the county, and they've got the exact number, it came out as $53,000 plus or minus. I don't remember
Gotcha.
the exact number. But
Um,
you also have to bear in mind that our collection rate is somewhere in the 80 percentile range, so it reduces that by 20%.
Hypothetical then of 53,000 roughly. Aren't we at the limit of 30 mills right now as a city?
Yes.
Then you made a statement about we're not gonna raise taxes, and young Delfonso here made a comment like, no, that means no tax raises. You can't raise taxes unless you petition the courts.
That's correct.
That's correct.
The general
I
fund
think
is.
you should be a little more transparent with the people.
For the general fund, there's room for debt service, the parks fund, they could have raised taxes there.
Is it even 1 mil though?
No, I don't think you can.
For the general fund, you're correct, but there's other funds that still has room.
Yeah, we're not quite at the maximum.
It's at 29.99 for,
So you could get
Tenth of a mil.
0.01% of whatever. I think it would be a lot easier if you're a little more transparent with that figure. That's all I wanted to bring up.
Well, we didn't raise the debt service millage or anything else.
Okay, let's go back to basics here. How much money do we still have in the art?
238,493.68.
Okay, so why are we holding this amount for? You've been holding this total for a while. Why?
Well, 30,000 of it still needs to, as promised to the fire department. We have. The other remaining $208,000,
Yeah,
council hasn't decided what they think is the best usage of spending that money on for the citizens of Monessen. We've
when,
worked really hard not to whittle it down and blow it.
when is council gonna determine this for the citizens of Monessen?
We will take ideas at any time.
We've always said that. We'll take ideas, discussions, what makes the most sense, what benefits
Okay,
the
let's,
communities.
okay, you're fine. Now, how many buildings does the city of Monessen have insurance on?
All the buildings that we currently occupy, I don't know. the
Just
number.
occupy.
Well, or we our own.
Oh, own, okay. Why aren't you paying the insurance on the library? You own it. And why is it so difficult that if you got a bundle insurance and you add one more property, that is far cheaper than the library being on their own, trying to pay insurance for one dwelling? And their insurance went up $480 for 2024. And also, there's like 3 big problems here. There's a BB gun hole in the back of the building through a window. There's also in the front of the window, right dead center, there's like a small window that's bringing in cold air. Okay, that's raising the heating bills. And then the water in the women's room, the faucet, when you turn it on, then you go turn it off, it keeps running for a while. So that's water going out the door. So if it's your building, why aren't you taking care of it?
Well, first off, you're on the library board, and I very much appreciate you bringing this to our attention. But to be honest with you, I was not aware of any of these things until you brought them forth. So now that you have, we can do something with them. Thank
Okay,
you.
what are you gonna do about the insurance? Can you add that to,
We
like,
can-
who handles that? You, the attorney, or,
Council would make that decision, Ernie, if we wanted to do that.
well, can you add one extra building? They'll pay the content. What you just talking
I
about
don't
the
know
building?
when the next term for,
January 5th is their next payment.
Yeah, and they want $480 more than last year, so what are we gonna do? The cost of everything going up.
Trust me.
If council directs, I can get information on what that bundling would cost, Ernie, and get back at the next
there's
meeting,
one
and
other-
a decision could be made.
there's one other thing that just want to make sure that everybody understands too. The library receives its own millage. That they receive their own tax monies to do their things. So you're asking the general fund that gets their money to pay for library things that the library gets their own money
Yeah,
for.
but that's fine for most of the items that they have to maintain. But the insurance is on the building that you own. Now, they'll pay the content, but the building itself, and you could get it cheaper than they could get it.
Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to check on that.
It's a bundle, a
We'll have to
package.
check it.
You think you know by the 28th, so then they can make a decision by the 5th of January?
I'm sure it's as simple as making a phone call to
Yeah.
a carrier, that's all it is.
That's right. And they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we have her.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's information, but council now has to direct us in the administration of how we move forward.
Well, okay, why don't you guys vote it?
You wanna have a motion to do that? We can look at it
I would
and
definitely look
provide
into it, yeah,
information
yeah.
to council.
Okay, and one more thing. Now we got new employees, right? Did we hire a new girl?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the cost of that for the year?
We only pay 1/3 of it because it's Treasury Department. It's split between the city, the county, and the school.
Just a third, okay.
Yeah.
And then who else? I heard there's gonna be a new police officer?
Not until they have a civil service test.
Oh, but who's gonna end up paying that?
Well, that would be us.
Yeah. Do we have money for that?
Well, it's in the budget. We have money for next year's budget.
We budget for so many officers.
Okay, you know, but the other guy that's leaving, streets,
They hired somebody.
they had some, you have money for that too?
Yep, it's in the budget.
And,
Right.
I just want to ask you, where do you think you could cut more to keep expenses down? Where?
Yeah, spend some time and go through the budget.
I did,
We-
it doesn't
we
make
have-
sense.
We have some anticipated money that we're gonna get. We have expenses that we anticipate. They balance.
How could they balance? You're saying you're gonna get $60,000 for this building right over here, and you don't even got a clue how much anybody, and if anybody's gonna buy it or not. So how could you put that in there and then show like,
Well, it's the
there's
be-
a
the
balance?
best
It
guess.
doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry, how else do you do a budget? You take the best knowledge that you've got, the best understanding of what you have going on, and you anticipate it. We don't know if something's gonna blow up on the middle of Third Street, and all of a sudden we gotta redo Third Street. We don't know these things.
Well, I just hope you guys have a little bit more going for you.
Well, spend some time looking at the budget. We spent a
Well, I
lot.
did, I just said it
we-
doesn't make sense, 60,000 when it's not even there.
We spent a lot of time going through that budget, through all of us.
We did not put things like that in the budget because we don't have a guarantee it's going to sell.
I know.
So I'm not gonna put mystical numbers in just to do something when you
But
never
it's
use
in
it.
the,
No, it's a bonus. That's all that is.
Okay,
is
a
a-
bonus.
It would be a bonus if it sells. It's
Well-
not in the budget as a line item that here's an extra 60,000.
okay.
I know that.
You have another bonus too. Ain't there another bonus you put in?
I didn't put any bonuses in.
Well, this one here, you said it's a bonus. Is there another
The
item?
bonus as it is hey, we sold something, just like last year when I was able to pay the MMO and all that, when the health building sold. Okay, Marvin went out and got the people that were doing the telephone poles. That was $100,000. You don't put things like that in a budget because you have no idea they ever come up. So that is not in the budget as a hard line
But
item of
as a bonus.
$60,000.
Yeah, okay. So, no, I just want it clear because I couldn't interpret that the way you just said it.
Okay, does it make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay,
If it's
thank
true,
you.
yeah.
Mayor, I have somewhere I need to be. Is there any questions for me before I leave?
Oh, one more thing. We should honor him next meeting. Spread the cake.
You're gonna help pay for it too. You're gonna help pay for it too.
I'll pay for the candle.
Bring the candles.
I'll be fine, trust me.
They gotta honor you.
I'll be fine.
Thank you.
My name is Pina.
Oh, hey,
One
before I
final.
leave, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, be safe out there.
Same to you.
Thank you.
I have a question. First of all, I have three questions, and I'm going to bring all three of them up. But, I believe that the redevelopment committee is one of the most important committees that we have in Monessen. But the way they function and the way they functioned last month, they use more F word that you could probably account for, and the mayor was there. But I guess it's okay if they do it. You know, his religion goes right out the back door. So I think my belief is cops should be there. Policemen should be required, just like you're required, because you said I used the word J-O in here. You had the cop come and stand by. So I think you're a very hypocrite. So I want you to control that redevelopment committee and quit threatening people.
I have no control over the.
Well, you
redevelopment.
say you're the liaison. You keep saying you're the liaison.
All liaison is just somebody that can sit there and monitor.
You stood there and said not a damn word. That's all.
That's
But
because
the
I have no
minutes,
permission.
the
No-
meeting, just
no
to
right to
go,
do that.
they last no longer than 10 minutes. It's a rule. Enough to say the Pledge of Allegiance, roll call officer, pay the chairman for him going to Greensburg and back, got him a check, got a check for the attorney that is there. And then the meeting gets, you know, they can't ask no questions, and you know that happened to you more than once, and it's totally not tolerable. And that's a very important part.
One of the things that we did do, Pino, is we did advertise for positions on that. If you want to be on that and take control and do something with it, put in your application.
I don't believe that you could work with anybody unless they kiss your ass, and I'm not one of them. Okay?
Thank you.
So that's all I have to say on that. My next question is real simple. I'd like to be clarified, and it is this group here. The code enforcement, I looked in the budget, gets $50,000 a year, correct? Or do they split the money between
The split
two
between.
individuals?
It's two positions.
It's part-time.
So it's like what, 25 and 25?
It's part-time. They work different amounts of time.
So is it 50,000 for both? Or?
Yes.
For both.
I think it should be more clear that, huh? I mean, when you say they're part-time, I don't have a problem them getting paid. I have a problem to where I don't know if they're working or not. I believe that they are. I have no reason to disbelieve that.
We allocated $50,000 for labor expenses in the code enforcement.
But it doesn't say, it says that it was allocated $50,000 for the.
We may have one person tomorrow, we may have three people. The budget is $50,000.
It's no different, Pino, that if you look at the budget and you look at parks, or you look anywhere other departments, there's a breakdown that says salaries, wages. It's lumped all together. You don't break it down for hours or break it down
Well,
that way.
my understanding was that between Yo-Yo and him, it split 25,000.
No, it could be 75, 25.
Well, I mean, as far as I see.
It
I
doesn't
don't know. I
exceed.
mean, I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't exceed $50,000.
I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is, it says that one person gets 50 grand.
No,
Oh,
it
yeah,
says
I'm
wages.
That function gets 50 grand.
It says wages. It says that it's code officer wages. It doesn't say one person, doesn't say two people, doesn't say five people. It says just wages.
Okay. I'll take, it's not clear, but I'll take that as an answer. So let me ask you another question, something different. How much did we put into the lawyer last year in the budget?
I think we're budgeted at 80 to 90. I think it's 80 to 90.
I thought it was 67.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was 67,000.
I don't know what it was last year. I don't know. We don't have that in front of me.
I'm talking about last year.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me. I don't know.
Last year, I don't have.
Okay, this year, I know it's 67,000. It's $6,000 for retaining fee, $60,000 for legal fees, $10,000 for the ads in the newspaper of anything that happens. So actually, for the law department, I will call it, it's a total of $76,000.
Which is cheaper than what it was in the past.
What was in the past? That's what I'm trying to get.
Well, going back 2 years, it was $100,000. And the year before that, expenditures were $130,000 or $140,000 because there was so much litigation that we got
So
nailed over.
that's one of the, and this could happen here.
It could happen.
We sure
Right?
work hard not to do that, to have
Well,
that
well,
happen.
let me ask you the second, what is that you guys charge per hour right now?
We've been over this, it's $100 an hour.
Okay. So have you gone to court at all
Have I gone to court?
the last year
Well, a couple times.
for us?
Yeah.
And the bills still stay the same, right?
I don't know what you're referring to. You're not being clear.
Well, if you send a bill when you go to court, it's different than if you just,
I give legal advice outside of a courtroom too,
to whom? To Monessen?
to the city.
To the city?
Yeah.
Because I remember you saying that you take a whole bunch of calls at no charge last time, correct?
Correct.
I
Part
probably
of the,
talk,
that's part of the retainer.
I probably talk to Joey sometimes more than I talk to my wife.
The point being is with,
No, hold on, let him finish.
okay.
It's okay, it's just a fair question.
Right,
Whether it's him or somebody else, it doesn't make any difference to me.
let's get to the point. Go ahead.
So
Make your point.
he takes many calls, and you said that, correct? All I'm looking is through the budget.
Okay.
So here's what I've come up with. Suggestion, okay? Working hours per year are 2,080 hours, correct?
Yeah.
So holidays pays or 80 hours is a rule, 2 weeks. Vacation is 80 hours, 2 weeks, right? So total working per hour is 1,920 hours per year. That's what carries in the book. The hourly rate per hour, according to what you said, it's $100 for the attorney, or whether it's you or somebody else, I don't know. I'm using your number.
It's
So if you-
$100 no matter who would do the work.
Okay. So if you take $100 per hour
Hmm?
and divide it into 66,000 amount of money,
Yeah.
you come up with 660 hours,
Okay.
correct? So if you come up 600 hours, it's more like 4 months' work.
Okay.
If you ain't going to court, and I'm using that as a rule, okay? $60,000 is budget. $6,000 is retaining fees. So the total is 66,000.
We've established that a long time ago.
Compensation is for the attorney that he attends 24, you attend 24 meetings a year.
Yeah.
And then you get compensated for, and let's say the
That's out-
meetings,
That's out of the retainer.
it's out of the retainer, but okay. Let me
You know, we've
finish.
had this conversation many times. You must not remember.
With me?
You and I, yeah. Here at a council meeting.
You never talked to me.
Okay.
The only thing you ever said to
Okay.
me is that one day that the garbage people.
Please
They
continue.
need to be there.
Go ahead.
That's all I
Keep
remember.
going.
Okay?
Get to your point.
Okay, so it becomes to where you say it comes out of the retaining fees, okay?
Mhm.
And I gave them a total of 24 meetings, 2 hours per meeting is the rule, except today, a little bit longer. It's the longest meeting so far I have been in, so. A total of 48 hours. That is covered by your retaining fees
Okay.
or incidental. So if you take $100 times 48 hours, equals $4,800, which it covers out of that $6,000 that is retaining fees. So it's less than what you would be.
Okay.
So, with
What's the
that in
point you're trying to
mind,
Hey, can we get to your point? If you try to say I'm overpaid, say I'm overpaid. Let's be done with it.
well, let me finish.
If that's
Well,
what you're
please-
to the
please
point
get
you're
to the
trying to
point.
make,
You
make it.
keep rolling
You won't
on.
be the first person in the city to say I'm overpaid. I've heard it before. Get it over with.
You done talking?
Or I'm hoping you get to your point.
Let me talk. Okay,
Please
I'm
make
the
your
one
point
that is talking,
quickly.
Okay?
Please make your point quickly.
Well, you got the clock on or what?
I want to keep this moving along.
Well, all I'm telling you is asking you a simple question. So I recommend to pay the attorney no more than $40,000 a year. Because he's only working,
And he may
you know,
only
the hours
charge,
that
he may
he's
only
working.
charge us $2,000.
Whether it's him or someone else. Okay? It's a
all a
saving to
function of what
Monessen
really comes
taxpayer.
up.
It's a saving of Monessen taxpayer, $25,000 or 1/2 of a meal. That's all I have, nothing else on it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now, hold on, I got one more.
Okay, let's make a point quickly.
This one here is real simple. If you recall, I looked at the budget for the city administrator and the mayor this year. I think it's $4,800 for you, and it's 60,000 for him, right? So it went up 10 grand.
No,
No, didn't go up anywhere.
that's the same he got last
Same
year.
as before?
Yes.
Oh, I thought, okay, I'll take that back.
Yeah. it's,
I was gonna ask that question, $4,800 and 60, I thought it said 65,000.
No, it says 6,000.
Hold on, hold on. City administrator, 65,000.
You got the wrong budget.
I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm only got the budget that you put out there. I picked it up when I paid the taxes.
That's wrong.
This-
Well,
at the
I didn't put
podium-
it out there. I'm just going by what I
Budget
see.
for review is at the podium there, if you open
It was put right there when I came to pay my taxes. I picked it up and took it with me and I seen it. You can look at it. If it's the wrong one, tell me.
It's the wrong one.
Okay, but I didn't put it there. So did I read?
I don't know.
I can't help you there. All I can tell you is it's
So
60,000.
am I reading the right numbers,
No.
though, even though you say it's the wrong number?
You're reading the wrong number for the city administrator.
Open up the folder
60,000.
right there in front of you and get the current budget.
What?
The folder, there you got your arms on, has the budget in it.
Well, let me ask you a question, just so you can be clear. I picked the budget out of
I
here
have no
for people
idea
to pick up.
who put that there, what was there,
Where
anything
was
about
it
it.
at?
It was right here when I came up to pay my taxes for anyone to take it.
It was here.
The
at
only place the
podium.
budget is on the podium.
I'm only telling you what I did.
Well, I'm sorry.
I didn't print it.
I didn't
I
either.
didn't make a copy.
I don't know what,
Well,
who
the
did or
bottom
what
line
didn't.
is someone or somehow you got the wrong one.
Well, I mean, but you seen it, right?
Yeah, I seen it originally too, and it said 65 and it was moved to 60. So yes.
So that answers my question, right?
I don't know where that came from.
But it came from here. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't print it. I don't know, I don't
I
do
didn't either.
that.
I didn't
So
either.
I
It was
picked it
over
up.
here, Pino, you're saying on this?
No, normally I look there,
Yeah,
but this
he's
one
talking
here,
about
when
the following
I was paying my taxes, I seen people going down there and picking up, stuff like that, because it was all stapled. So I picked it up and took it.
I don't have any idea what you
No
got.
idea on that one, but,
That's all I can tell you.
okay.
Thank
So,
you.
I mean, my question was gonna be, how the hell that happened?
It
It
did.
didn't.
It didn't happen. It
Trust me.
didn't happen.
It
Okay,
did not
so
happen.
You cleared it.
Oh, I cleared it as
Thank
soon
you.
as
And but I'm not ashamed to bring it up.
No, I cleared it, don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just have a couple of questions and a few statements. Can you tell me if the Civic Center and the Rec Board accounts are separate or are they together? Like, is it one budget or do they fall under two separate accounts?
It's one.
It's one account. Okay, are we able to know what the, funds are for the Rec Board account?
It's the Rex Board, what I reported tonight. You have $4,598.61 in there.
Okay, because, we have I have some things coming up at the Civic Center that require a budget, along with there's some safety concerns with the gym floor. And we're having to go to public and other places to try to get this money done, to get this money for the floor. It needs, I think, completely resurfaced. No, it needs more than re-waxed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's bad, and it's been bad for some time. I know. We had talked to Mike about it earlier and earlier in the week and stuff. So he is aware of the issue, but for this upcoming year, I mean, I know the city itself does not have the money to pay for the floor because I had asked about the floor before and it was said that they didn't have the money to pay for it. But nothing can be done out down there without having a budget of some sort. I have different programs and stuff that are coming up. It's going to take a budget. And
Well, let me say something here real quick, just to set the record straight. First off, the Civic Center is city property and it's controlled by council here. Any money that is budgeted comes from city council. Any project that gets done comes from city council. There is no money out there that you can just grab a hold of and spend the way you want to spend it. It all comes from city council. Just understand that. And when you go out and raise money, you need to really come to city council and say, I want to raise money this way. It is a board. It's not an authority. It's a board.
I was thinking though, excuse me, sorry to interrupt you, Julie, I apologize. I was thinking, Mayor, though, I think we definitely need to get something into motion. If the floors are, sounds like to me deplorable, and we're having our citizens, let alone our children, playing on them, I think we need something done about that.
Well, that would be
I mean,
CDBG.
yeah, because I mean, that's all you need is something to happen and a child to get hurt, and then, yep, and they're done.
Absolutely.
Is there something, Mike, or something we can do that we can start facilitating how much that needs to be done and get a line items done?
See, excuse me, I'm here on
Yeah,
his
yeah,
behalf.
yeah,
I want
please.
to echo what he's saying.
Yeah.
He plays a different role. I'm there every weekend at the Civic Center. I work midnights, so usually on Saturday morning, I go to the Civic Center. They have the equipment, and like I usually get with the city workers, and they supply the soap. You have to put a special soap on the floor.
Yeah.
But I clean the floor every year. We do it one time real good,
Yeah.
just out of the equipment they have down there, and we just do it ourselves. But the floor, it doesn't need a brand new floor ripped up,
No.
placed
It
down.
just needs like the waxing.
The floor needs buffed, waxed, and kept up on. You know, not just after, like on Saturdays I do it Saturday morning, but we play 8 games. We play 8 games on Saturday.
And by that time, it needs to be done
and
all
on,
over again.
and then there's people that even come in after us,
Yeah.
and like softball, the mats, parties, and laying on the floor, it destroys the floor. But if it's stripped and waxed one good time, and we stay up on it like we do, you know what I mean? The city does. They clean the floor every Monday.
Yeah.
They come in there and take the garbage out, and they do a mop. But it's not like basketball prep. You know what I mean? Like when you go to the high school, they make sure they strip and wax the floor, but they stay on it. It's hard to stay on that floor, man, and kids can get injured.
That's where I think we're all afraid about the most part.
Like we had a problem down there a few years ago when we didn't have mats on the wall.
Yeah.
Kid smacked his head off the wall. He almost left us. He really got hurt real bad. But next thing you know, we got mats.
Yeah.
The floor is just as serious as those mats.
Just as important as those walls and the
Yes,
ceiling and everything.
And we don't get we get a lot of feedback from the Civic Center, but the Civic Center is a lot of our kids are down there this time of year through January and March. Our kids look forward to that Civic Center. It's been there over 50 years.
One of the things that council did was they established a rec board. And the rec board was really supposed to be able to provide guidance and so forth for what takes place at the Civic Center. The rec
I
board,
thought that rec board was crazy.
Well, that
Always.
rec-
It was never like,
the rec board has not had a quorum in many months now.
Yes.
We need to rethink the whole process.
and you said the money comes through here. We're thinking something totally different. You agree?
Yeah, so this is for 2 different things. He was here for another reason too. The reason I was setting up was seeing, is there any money for the things that I'm trying to do? You said I can't just go fundraise, so is that the same thing with grants too? Like I can't just apply for grants, as that being a recreation center. Is that correct?
You can come to this council and say you want to do these things, and we can say, yeah, go for it or not, depending on what the desire of council is.
The way it's supposed to have ran was your position has things you want to do. From there, you would go to the rec board. You would pitch yourself to them, and they overseen the civic center and your position. They would then present to council the ideas of what needed to happen. That's the way it was originally designed, is supposed to have worked that way. That has fallen apart tremendously,
Yes, sir.
unfortunately. We're trying to address that. But, Julian, what you're asking is like, you have a lot of great ideas, and I commend you on that, but they have to come through council, and they have to either be budgeted or seen if they could be done, or do we have the funds to allocate it to you? Like the mayor said, CDBG is one avenue of where we can direct funds. We're looking at doing something for the kitchen down the road, to cut that and redo that.
We
You
don't-
just cut money from them a couple months ago. You just took money away from the rec board,
Who took money away from the rec board?
the city of Monessen.
No.
You downgraded, you downgraded, because there was a lot of things that was
When-
addressed when Lois was here all summer.
CDBG money, okay?
Well,
It's-
it never got done.
There is all kinds of ping pong tables there that are not being used. There's air hockey games.
We're talking about the safety. We're not talking about recreation. We're talking about the building.
The building
build-
got it, the building last year, no, 2 years ago, had $80,000 put into the heating and air conditioning.
But you
Ain't
had
no
a
air
grant for that,
conditioner down there.
Tony.
What, I'm sorry?
There was a grant for that.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
CDBG
it
money.
come out-
But the city doesn't, the city has what we have, what I report to you,
But
okay?
what I'm saying, the floors didn't get like this yesterday. The floors were already, the floors were already discussed this summer down at that rec center. Go back through your agendas.
Who's on the board? I don't have the board's been changed over so many times, I don't know.
I don't even know who's on anymore.
I wouldn't even know who's on the board.
If this gentleman here doesn't know, he runs the place, and I think he's underpaid, in my opinion, then somebody needs to come over and tell you guys what it is that they need.
Exactly.
And because if they come here to the meeting and say what the problems that they have, and you say, well, you
Well,
have to have it in the budget.
Let's be clear about something. Let's be very crystal clear about something. And I don't mean to put people on the spot, but I will. And that is, because of the rec board not doing what they're doing, because they haven't gotten together, because there's been no quorums, no communication, all right? It is very clear, if I remember, and please tell me if it's not, that you are now reporting directly to Mike. Am I correct?
Since a couple of
Correct.
months ago.
Okay, so if there's something that he would like to speak of or do for the Civic Center, that needs to come from him directly to Mike, have conversation. Mike will inform him of what's the next step to do, how he wants to bring it to council. Does he want to buy some stuff or something else needs, or the floor needs done? I don't have a flipping clue. I've never heard this until
But on
this
the
second.
same note,
And you know
I
what,
I also submit weekly reports.
But your report, I've seen your reports,
week.
but your report, and I don't want to criticize anything, but it doesn't say anything that this floor's deteriorating, we need to get this floor done. There's never been once that's been in there. If that's the case, I'm gonna urge you to take that initiative and do that and work with Mike and bring it to council, because council doesn't know this stuff.
But in the past, I have said stuff about the floor, and I stopped saying stuff about the floor because it was said the city does not have the money to redo the floor. So why would I keep putting it in there if I was already told the city cannot afford to redo the
And not to interrupt you, I
floor?
apologize, but now it's in front of us, let's handle it. So
Yeah.
what are we gonna
I
do?
just
Let's
about
do
to
it.
say,
Yeah,
I just about
it's
to
in
say.
front of us, let's do it, let's
when
talk.
I don't know who appoints the board, but you have to appoint somebody who cares. And like, a lot of people don't understand the Civic Center. If you don't understand the Civic Center, you don't need to be on the Civic Center board. And that's just not trying to put a little cult together and let's just do this.
But it's good to have someone who knows the
It's good to
history.
have, even if you, I didn't know how many, was there like 4 people on the board?
I
However,
think it's 7.
I think there's
well, if
7.
there's 7 people on the board, you should be able to come to I think 7's too many for a civic center. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't understand why there would be 7. But I mean, that's just my personal opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
but-
they're also in charge of city parks.
Oh, no,
and so
see,
forth.
I said civic center.
Yeah.
So when I said that, I thought 7 people would be too many for the civic center.
Yeah.
Because like, there's not that many decisions that need to be made.
Well, obviously it's too many because we can't even get 4 there to
Right,
have a
right, thank
quorum.
you. I
But
agree, sir.
but seriously though, going forward, what can we do to start addressing these issues to get the wheels starting? Should we have Mike go out and to advertise the work, or should we have
Well, we
someone
gotta
from the
figure-
city?
I think you gotta figure out how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah, and then we gotta find the source of the money.
Well, you got stuff for Shawnee Park.
Yeah, and that was CDBG funds.
Right, well, why is, and this has been brought up before, you just need to go back and look over past agendas. This was brought up before. So you're giving us, putting us on the back burner, the Civic Center. But yet and still, you can do stuff for
So
Shawnee Park.
let's.
But this came, I've been to every meeting except for a couple.
So what has
And
happened
Julian
at
has
Shawnee
been down
Park
here.
last year?
Julian has been down here before discussing this, when yours were on his back.
Let me ask you.
And if you don't believe me, you ask Norman Madison.
Tony.
I'm
I think
sick
what
of
you-
this.
I think
You
what
better
you said-
do what you gotta do for these kids in this city, just like you do everywhere else in this city.
So 2 years ago, we invested $80,000 in the heating and cooling system. Last year, we invested another $70,000 on the games and so forth that were over there. This year, we're looking at the handicap ramp out front and the kitchen. There's another $60,000 or $70,000. We are investing money in.
Doing all that if you can't use the floor.
The point being is that's where the priorities were set to us, that's what we're doing. Now, if the priority's floored, we will get some CDBG funds for that too.
The kitchen should
That
have been
kitchen
done years,
could- and
the
the
kitchen
kitchen
should have
could
been
hold
done
up.
years
I mean,
ago.
that-
It couldn't meet the requirements from years ago. CDBG wouldn't allow it because it was not open to the public. Last year, thanks to Julian, they made it open to public for a food program that they put together.
All this time that Civic Center been down there, it's not been open to the public?
That's correct, the kitchen was not.
Kitchen not, yeah.
The kitchen was not.
Technically.
Technically, the kitchen was excluded.
Well, how many functions have we had down there with that kitchen being
You're
not
missing,
on the?
you're missing what they said. Julian put together a summer food program, correct?
Yes,
was
but
what
we have used
allowed.
it, Mr. Del
And that's-
Ponso,
that's-
before
But
Julian
n-
even got down.
But never in that role, and never in that role. Julian came up with a very unique program that opened the doors for CDBG to fund fixing the kitchen, and we immediately funded the kitchen as a result.
Well, I haven't been down there, is the kitchen down?
No, there was,
The money's just allocated.
the money's allocated,
Yeah.
we're trying to order the equipment and get it in.
Bids are in, the work's gonna be done.
Clean the kitchen.
And let me be clear before,
We cleaned it 2 or 3 times
Excuse
with
me.
vendors that we utilize.
I want to be
'Cause it
clear,
was a
I'm not
mess
saying
when we got to
specifically
it.
that the city
Yeah,
is,
Yeah, we don't work there all year. When we're not there, the
It
floor
was
and
a-
the kitchen's a mess.
Yeah.
What you're bringing to us now is the floors are a high priority item. We will address that as a high priority item, we'll figure out ways to get some CDBG funds to do that.
I think it's unfair to ask that type of question there. I think Tony had a better idea, and I agree with what he said before. I think you guys need to write down what is the priority that you want first, and then hand it over to Mike, and then go that route. Because if you don't have, if you say, well, the priority is to do the floor, and then you'll find out that now we don't have no equipment, now we don't have no kitchen, now we don't have, if you write from the top down, what is the priority that you need, and write it down, make yourself a copy, date it, stamp it, and give it to Mike, then it's
You got
somewhere
your
to
butt
start.
covered. Because Julian just demanded Julian this summer to write a report up and give it to Mike.
Right, and he's doing good at it.
so what happened in the past with whatever, when I said the floor needed done, if you guys don't remember saying it, that's fine. I'm not saying that the city has not done anything for the Civic Center. I'll be very clear about that. Money has been given to the Civic Center. But what I'm saying is, and what I'm doing and what needs to be done it cannot continue to go on without.
The only way that this will change is
Hold
you
on,
make
hold
a
on, Mayor.
request.
If we
Like,
can-
they're saying somebody has the potential of getting injured on this floor.
I
I think
re-
council needs to look and see
See about getting it resurfaced.
how much it's gonna cost to get resurfaced.
Somebody get an
I
estimate.
think that's definitely where we need to start at.
Yeah.
And who gets the estimate?
And we
The
were.
city.
The city gets the
The city.
estimate, the Mike gets it,
I'll work
and I,
with you on that, and we talked today, or, not today, earlier in the week on the issue overall,
And,
with
you
what we
done?
need to do,
Yeah.
what the funding would be.
thank
that
you,
sort of
Julie,
thing.
for coming down, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just coming in reference to a lot of stuff he was talking about, but also, we paid $2,500 from the month of March to January. That's our rent at the Civic Center. And between referees, we pay everyone at the table to work our admission, because no one does nothing for free. We have a scores table where we have two people at the table every game. Like I said, we play 8 games on Saturdays, 6 on Sundays. And the kitchen, we pay for the kitchen. Like a lot of at one time, we was able to pay the officials with the money coming through the door. Sometimes it don't work that way. And sometimes, so we have a kitchen we run. And if you go anywhere, man, officials are a lot of money. It's always, at the end of the day, it's almost like $600 to pay the officials.
Can I ask him a question? You say you paid $2,500 from January to March?
From January to March is our
For the
rent
city?
for the civics.
For the basketball league, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all we were, and then we were,
Rental of
we
the
were,
facility.
my role today was to ask, because Amy's not here, she had a Christmas party with her work, and she would have been here. I'm like second in charge, not so much in charge, I just work with Amy, I do the floor work, and she does most of the signups and everything else. But we were trying to see if we can get that lower, that $2,500 rent.
I don't understand where you're even paying.
Then how do we maintain the civic center, Linda? You have to have some income, and that's the kitchen premise, is to put together a kitchen that we can then rent out for events to help bring income into the civic
I
center.
mean, let me ask
Yeah,
you,
go.
and I'm using this question as a way of negotiating, okay? They get $2,500 between January and March and pay the city. Now, once the city gets that money, those 2 people there should know, the city here, right? What do they do with the money?
They put it in the recreation
It
account.
goes in the recreation
It
account. This
goes
is
in the account.
$4,000 that we got there
You
now.
said recreation, it goes to all the recreation, right?
It's, yes, it's one account.
Right.
So it goes like, the baseball field, the tennis court?
Well, lack of,
Well, I'm just
unfortunately.
saying, but it goes everywhere else.
Yes,
Do they pay rent
yes.
for what?
It's not free. You gotta cut the grass, you gotta maintain it, you gotta do all that stuff.
Okay, well, how much does Shawnee Park pay?
No.
How much do they pay?
I don't think there's anything that's done down
They-
there, except for cutting the grass.
Well, there's no grass at the Civic Center.
I know the soccer
No,
league
but
and
it's
the
all
football
for
league, they do
expensive
something. I don't know what
I'm
that
just
number
saying,
is.
you-
But I
You're
bet
right to
it's
saying
not
there was grass at Shawnee, there's no
$2,500.
grass at the Civic Center.
But I
And we
bet
pay
I
rent
bet
for
you
the,
they don't pay
for the other parks?
$2,500.
It's not
So
the
the Civic
same
Center money
consistency
goes to
that
some
he
of the
has
other
either.
parks too, is that what you're saying?
No, it primarily goes to the civic center, because
No, she
we don't
just said-
really spend
But she
any,
just said it goes into the board, the recreation to finance all the parks is what you said.
yes, but they don't do anything anywhere else, so it always sits in,
What
the-
if-
it goes to the rec.
So what do they do at the Civic Center?
So what comes
That's-
out of the
There's no,
money?
you just said the money goes to finance the other parks.
It goes into a pot that could be used for the other parks, but there's nothing that's used there except we cut grass.
But there's
So it
nothing
sits
used at
there.
the Civic Center.
Well, civic
I
center, that's why the
understand the
civic
money.
center has $4,500 in it. That's why there's money in
I
there.
understand that, some of the money has to go for the electric or whatever, but that's why
I like to be fair. Who cuts the grass?
Parks.
The city, the city worker?
Right.
Yes.
So where's that, but why are we paying the Civic Center money to pay
Yeah,
the Civic?
city worker.
Right.
Well, you're not paying anything, but they're doing it.
Well,
There's wear and tear on equipment.
So
There's no cost involved for the other things is what you're trying to get to, all right? The money that comes in and is collected by the civic center,
99.9% of it stays in the Civic Center. It doesn't go out to anywhere else. If you read the report that I do every month, all right, it shows gas, water, electric, and that's at the Civic Center.
That's a better statement than saying.
The rest of the stuff, like parks. Parks comes out for like electricity, parks comes out of the Parks Fund to pay for the lights and things of that nature. But it's all together, but nothing else happens. It's all goes to the Civic Center.
Okay, Tony, I'm saying, so if I wanted to use Shawnee Park, it should be free. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I don't know if there's there's a fee for the park, isn't it? There's a fee.
$150
But it's not
for pavilions, for the
$2,500.
pavilions.
No, but that was negotiated for that's the basketball club team?
Yes.
That's,
Cardi, are you done? Kurt?
I was looking for something.
Oh,
I had something over here I wanted to say.
The basketball, what you paid at $2,500, right?
Sir?
The $2,500 you pay?
For the league.
That's for the league, right?
That's to the Civic Center.
But
For the league, he's talking about the league, yeah.
Yeah, it's a league, the league pays the Civic Center $2,500.
Yes, sir.
So
And how
that
often does that
goes
meet?
towards,
how often does that meet?
That's at the end of the year, when we're done with the
So,
Civic
so how
Center.
how often does it meet? Once a week? 4 days a week? 5 days a week?
We practice down there, we practice at the Civic Center, and we play on the weekends.
Okay.
We no longer, we used to get our schools, but they we used to get, two of the schools, the elementary and the high school back gym, but they don't, Miss Nacarado stopped that. We're not allowed to use none of the schools no more, so we force 45 minutes of practice around, we have what? 5, 10, we have 15 teams down there, and we get one practice a week. And we have to split it up within 45 minutes because of us and the rentals. So we don't, you know what I mean, that we shoving all that in one week, and we're up there, and we're from 9 o'clock till like 4:30 on Saturdays, 10 o'clock till like 5 o'clock on Sundays.
And we can't use the school gym.
No, we used the gym for years, and the last 2 years we couldn't use the gyms.
As much property tax as school tax as we pay, we can't even use our gym?
Well,
You know, you just better look at the big picture.
well, the big picture is we don't control the school board, and I'll even give you a better one. You can sit there, and we've asked this question before, students need books for learning, am I correct? For research, they probably use the resources, and Karen would notice, not to put her on the spot, for the library. How much does the school district give the library?
They don't even have no books up at that.
They
high
give
school.
them zero.
My mother works at the library.
They give them absolutely nothing. So that's two questions you need to direct to the school board to support.
I was just mentioning that. I was just mentioning how he asked about what times we were there, and I was just letting him know that why we shove all the kids in there now, because we didn't have no. I'm done.
So,
I just was
thank
wondering
you
if,
so much. I
if
think
we can do we have to bring it to the board?
No, I think, Mike,
to
if you can,
to-
just
Right
start
now,
on.
apparently there is no board.
Well, you guys.
Well, you have
As
to bring
far
it
as,
down.
as far as
I'd
us
like to be
looking for a cut on the rent, is there any way, or is that just a?
I'll be frank, I probably don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough. I'll be very honest and frank with you too.
Because
It's
now
kinda
I'm
tough.
gonna have to, we need to
You're
get
looking
the-
to saying, all right, see if the city can somehow we can pay for doing the floor. And that's gonna be how much? $8,000-$10,000, if not more?
No, the floor stripped and waxed is not gonna be no $8,000 to $10,000.
How much is it gonna be?
How much?
I don't know. I could get you an estimate for the next meeting.
So
I just
we
never
could-
did because the city was supposed to take care of it. So I never went out and got an estimate on.
That's
getting it.
something Mike can do.
I definitely will do, but
Yeah.
I don't
We'll
think that
get-
was ever
we'll-
said.
we'll-
And we
we'll-
talked, like I said.
We'll
this
move
week
forward
starting-
from here then with that.
Yeah.
I never got
I
an
would say
estimate.
first let's tackle the
I
floor.
started
And like,
looking into
when
it.
I
Yeah,
do the
let's
floor
take-
myself.
Okay,
You
okay,
can't
come on,
estimate
let's
for
try to
February,
bring
say
this
you
to
wanna
conclusion
recap.
here.
Right. It
First
doesn't
off, it's been brought to our attention the floor is a
sorry, it doesn't
problem.
work that way.
We'll work with Mike. Mike will get some quotes. Come talk to him.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for
Right?
coming down.
Yeah.
I got a question. We are allowed to go out and call and get estimates as well, right?
Please, yeah.
Now, in order to do that, we have to understand the square foot of the gym. Because I did call, And they can't give an estimate until they understand how big the floor actually is.
And
I have no
thought we
idea.
had that measured by the city guys already.
Well, I'm not, this is my first,
I'm about to say,
yeah,
first. She just-
yeah, this is my first one, but
Yeah.
now that I played on the floor,
She's played
I
on the
have my
floor, too.
children on the floor, I coach on the floor now, my business sponsors a team down there. So now with the
Thank
season
you.
coming up, I just wanna make sure our children are safe. And then when you talk about ways to bring money in, if you make the floor the main priority, it's a basketball gym. You know how many programs will probably
Want to come in and play.
wanna come in and use the gym for basketball.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna get that.
In the past, there's been talks, and I've spoken to a few other members that were on the prior rec board, indoor soccer.
Right. I
Getting-
played indoor soccer down there when I was a kid.
Okay, indoor soccer, I don't know if floor hockey would work, depending on if you got the right plastic stick and all that, but it's available.
Right.
Things of this nature. We've talked, and then, of course, this is prior board, so I have to say, this disregards what's going on now. I know I've had conversations with some individuals saying, we could contact Dick's Sporting Goods. You got companies like that. Mr. Greger is working right now with the Pirates for something for the ball fields, okay? There's a lot of avenues we can approach, but I'm sorry, if we don't know about it, we can't do it. We really can't, and some of this is the first time I'm ever hearing about some of this, so.
That's the unfortunate part because this is my second year coaching. In both years, I've asked, well, what's going on, and information gets brought back, and
But if you want the best way to get things done in the city, seriously, you're doing it right now. You come to council, you bring it in front of council, and if we're dragging our feet, shame on us. But if we don't know about it, we're looking at you going, we don't have a clue what you're talking about.
I mean, if you say that the rec board has been inactive,
They haven't.
it's probably
been-
hard for you to understand what is actually going on at the Civic Center.
Well, we rely on Julian for that.
But that's still
Okay,
no reason
well,
to return.
All right.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, the
I think that this part, not to be rude,
I did when I saw
I think we
it.
need to really focus now on the floor.
Yeah.
I think that's.
yeah,
I think that's the
because
bottom
we
part.
had open gyms down there,
Yeah.
and I'm doing drills with the children, and as an athlete, all I can see is a
Yeah.
ACL tear
Yep.
because you're doing a cut and you slip, and next thing you know, your knees on the opposite. It's
Exactly.
just there's
So-
just certain things. It's like
Mike, you
I've
have-
been,
you
I've been
have that
playing on the
written down.
floor since I was 9.
Yeah, so I
And
think
it's
we'll have
just-
that written down, and so, Mike, would you be able to have this, when's our next meeting?
28th.
28th.
I don't have all the answers.
So we should have all that
We
information.
talked about putting something together, yeah.
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 Yeah, can I get the? I meant to.
No,
I
thank
tried
you
calling
guys.
you,
I
but
appreciate it. Thank you.
if I can get a square footage, I wouldn't have a problem keep calling and getting the best estimate and bringing it to you because.
Let's work together like we said this week. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does the school has all the equipment to do their job?
Anyway,
Make a
Hey,
motion.
hold on.
Does anybody-
Let me close out the meeting. I just got a comment, that's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know. I think exactly that.
I was born and raised in Monessen. I've lived here basically all my life, except when I lived in Maryland. There's certain things that are traditional in Monessen. And it was unfortunate that this holiday season, that got derailed. I don't want to bring up anybody's name, and I don't want to bring up the organization that had the issue, but certain traditions that have been going on for 30 years need to be untouched. They need to remain the same. Nobody should be able to come in and defer it to something different unless it's going to be something better. And it wasn't better.
That's awful vague. I mean, that's like.
Oh, I know it is, because I don't want to implicate anybody, because I don't want anybody getting upset with me. But it bothered me. It bothered me because that is what the children of our community were used to doing every year.
Doing what? I know you don't want to say it, Linda, but I can't wrap my head around
Well,
something you
you
won't
can
say.
talk to Karen Costner, that soon will be on the council. Talk to her and talk to Lois. That's all I want to say. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
And I just thought it was really, really unfortunate that that happened. And I keep all my agenda notes, and if you want me to bring in the agenda notes where Julian was down here this summer
That's not the issue.
talking about
That's not
that.
the issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna follow up on it.
Please make the motion.
All right. Honorable Mayor, motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, December 14th, 2023 at 8:36 PM.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, I gotta go to my car. Is this one? I owe you 50 cents, because when I gave you $1 for the last one, you never gave me my quarter back.